All right, guys, welcome to the first. I feel like what is it? No, it's week one. We'll say week one, not week zero. Week one
Yeah.
of football
Yep.
season. Trust Sports. We in this bitch, Liam. What's good, my guy?
It's just the air it smells a little fresher. The sun's a little brighter. It's this time of year.
Yes,
This time of
sir.
year, we're
Yes,
finally here.
sir. Finally. But before we get into it, we definitely had some let's just say week one, a little bit of teaser with college football. Let's hit on some college football. I think my biggest take from this weekend was the nut huggers and Navy Army football. I want to talk about those two things. But when we get into it, let's start off with your boy Caleb Williams. And then we could also talk about Sam Hartman. As well. So right away, I get a notification from Liam, like, I told you, this guy's guy. One of my students, shout out to Bryce, he hit me up, he DM'd me. He said, yo, looking back on that video, I have to say I agree with Liam when Liam said if you would have put Caleb Williams in the draft last year, that he would have went number one. And I was like, I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts when you've seen that first game with Caleb Williams and Sam Hartman?
I think I'll start with Caleb Williams and your boy Bryce. He's 100% right. Great name too. But Caleb Williams, I mean, he's a stud. And I think when I texted you that video, like, realistically, it was a botched snap against San Diego State, right? So it's like, okay, well, it's nothing really special. But I think I said to you, man, that could be against Palmyra High School's JV team. Like, I don't care it could be no defense. The fact that he threw off his back foot 50 yards, cleaned the air on a dime for the touchdown, like, that's what I'm talking about. This kid truly is special. And I mean, everything you see, and you see comparisons all the time that are really whack. Like, I hate the comparisons, so I'm going to be a hypocritical here, because everyone says, look, we're going to see now when every dynamic quarterback that has a cannon of an arm that can move a little bit are probably going to be compared to like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, right? But I keep seeing on social media, I keep hearing from some of these analysts that, like, this kid is the only kid that you can really compare to what Patrick Mahomes is. He can do things that nobody else can. And that throw is a prime example. Like, there's no one else in the game of college football that's making a throw like that. The way that he maneuvers through the pocket,
bullshit.
The way that he can, I'm telling you, man, everything about this kid is special. We see teams tank, and we always talk about how difficult tanking is in the NFL, right? Like, in the NBA, it's a little bit different, but the NFL is a different beast. I don't remember a time when some team had a fire sale that was deliberately saying we're tanking for a quarterback like the Cardinals have. And I mean, just goes to show that even with a quarterback like Kyler Murray, who's not elite, but when he's healthy and playing top tier, he's probably like top 12. Like, he's not terrible. He's not Dak.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're going out and they're saying, yo, like, we're just punt the season. Just punt the season. Get this guy. And then we'll fully regroup. And look, I'm a little worried. I know we're going to touch on our predictions for later in the year on USC, but at least with Caleb Williams at the helm, like, if he stays healthy, he's going to win the Heisman again. He's going to go number one, clear cut. Like, just enjoy it, because he truly is a special talent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that he's one of those talent guys. Like, he's in a system where it's kind of made from the flourish. He followed his coach to USC. This coach knows what's his weapons are needed. I didn't see nothing impressive for him to throw. Like, when I look at that throw, it looks like a fucking varsity guy going against an 8th grade team. You know, it's San Diego State. So to me, I'm like, okay, he made that throw. I tell you right now, you can put any fucking college quarterback in that right now. In an elite system, they do the same thing, right? They just make a lucky play and throw it up. But I promise you, you could see any starter right now in the NFL that's a 3rd string, 4th string backup. Everyone has an arm like that when you're playing a bum team like that, go. I promise you. You see them make up third. Plus, what makes me hindered against his ability is last year when they lost to Utah. For him to lose to Utah twice, you could say, okay, where was he at before? I'm forgetting where he was at before he came to USC.
He was with Riley in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay, perfect. He wasn't even started at Oklahoma, was he?
No, I think he like committed, and then, like, I don't think he was even a freshman yet. Like, he committed and then followed him over.
Okay. I don't remember seeing him play, but like when I saw it last year of him losing to that Utah, the first game against Utah was like, okay, a what if. The way he got dominated by that defense versus Utah again in the playoffs to really make that last run, like Ohio State, we needed him to lose to Utah, and for me to see, like, okay, because he got hurt in that game, I was like, fuck, man, he didn't show me nothing impressive. If that's your guy, I need something out of him. So he can prove me wrong, and I want him to prove me wrong this year by being that guy, because I definitely can see USC being, a playoff team, and this is the first year we have the bigger team, right, in the playoffs. Is it 8 now?
No, still 4 now. This is the last year.
Oh, that's next year.
College football.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. We'll talk about our predictions. I see USC still being up there. Like, they were close. They were really close last year, but that for some reason, that Utah game, again, like I said, it's feelings, no facts. It's just a feeling after watching that game, that I was like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I expected more from him to push through. I know he had an injury, but he was just getting shut down by that defense. It's hunger, and that's what I didn't see from him. So I wonder what this all season does for him.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We were talking now. We were talking about I'm forgetting, dude. This might be the year for Notre Dame. Finally, Notre Dame might have this fucking emergence, and I want it for them, because Notre Dame has been shitty. Now, this is the thing I heard about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not in any particular conference, right?
They're not. They're independent.
So that's what pisses me off about Notre Dame. That they pick their fucking schedule and still can't fucking win games. Like, you pick your guys, you pick your schedule to the T. And you go back in the day, they were in contention every year, because you, like, in a Rose Bowl game, you played Ohio State, and that was your big game, and you fucking lost all the time. So it's like, really, what are we doing here? Like, I don't see them having anything different. But I said, we're going to start seeing, like, Sam Hartman, like you mentioned to me. What is he, like, 20-3 or something like that? He's old as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Yeah, and I was saying, like, I DM'd you. I was like, yo, I think we're going to start seeing, like, these quarterbacks who really, in my opinion, I think it's a good thing to take the time to develop. Yeah. Take the time to, as you see, like, he's transferred all around. He's played in 3 different programs, and he's finally ended up here. He is a good quarterback. He definitely, when I was watching that game, I was like, oh shit, he's showing me some signs. But it definitely shows me that, like, okay, we're getting to the realm now where if you're not one of these guys, like, I don't know, when you had like let's just say like a CJ Stroud, like, right away they're the guy. Like, right away they're going to be out here throwing bombs and darts. That you get a guy who is definitely going to be your in and out. Like, he's there for some time to develop, and then he becomes that all-star his last year, and he's 26 years old, and he enters the draft. So it's like, I think we're going to start seeing that out of, like, your normal quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And again, one of the things that we were talking about is, like, especially with the COVID year, which I think you're still getting, like, the back end of guys that had the COVID year, guys are just going to be playing forever. I mean, wasn't Stetson Bennett was like 25, 26, isn't he? So, like, it's kind of the same thing. He was JUCO, and then went to Georgia, and, like, didn't start at first, and then kind of hung around. But Notre Dame, back to your point of, like, they pick their schedule, they're not in a specific conference. I feel like that's always been a little bit of a challenge, because you're right. Then they always get to these big dogs that they do play against, and they kind of get the floor wiped with them. And I'm looking at their schedule this year. It's brutal. They play your Buckeyes, they play USC, and then they go to Clemson. So those are 3 games like you're going to be put to the test. I can't see them winning more than one of those 3. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, Notre Dame, honestly, Navy, and I know we'll talk about, like, the Army Navy teams, they're nothing. So to be honest with you, that kind of just looked like a preseason, let's get Sam Hartman warmed up type of game, more than it showed me anything on Notre Dame.
Yeah. I know. The big thing in Barstool was Rico Bosco saying that Navy was going to start throwing the ball this year. Here's my thing. These are, like, let's just for all shits and giggles, these are our, prized possessions of soldiers that go out there and fight wars for us. And they're not the best team. I forget what comedian I saw us talk about this. Like, they're not the best team. Think of, like, the talent that we could have of soldiers playing football. If you just open up, I don't understand why they stick to this wing T format. Like, it's a tradition to run. If it's a shitty tradition, why the fuck are we still doing this? It makes no sense to me to keep this tradition alive if it's not working. Like, you have teams that could definitely be a contingent. You have athletes on these teams that are just sitting on the sidelines because we decided to keep the wing T. Like, when are we going to change to a different type of offense? Like, and I think you would see a total different change, and you may even see them start to get ranked even higher because they're in contingent now, because they just changed the offense.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think I agree with you. I mean, it's frustrating, and you do get, like, I think, what was it, a year or 2 ago? Like, Navy had, I think they had a quarterback a year or 2 ago that ended up getting a preseason try with the Ravens. Like, you do get these athletes that come through once in a while, but I mean, it's just up until, like, it just seems like the only games that matters are when the stations play against each other, especially like the Army Navy game is such a big skeptical that it doesn't even like the rest of the games don't even matter. It seems like.
No, it does. Trust me, I can't tell you. The only time I've ever watched Army Navy is just when they play each other. I'm never just putting it on to watch an Army and Navy team or anything like that. So I feel you.
And to be fair,
but I wasn't.
That game we only watched against Notre Dame because it was like that week 0 first kickoff. Other than that, it probably wouldn't even been on.
Yeah, hopefully Army and Navy get their shit together and switch it up. So going into like the college games of the week, I just wanted to stay on par. What not, excuse me, we're not talking about all of them, but at least the ones that are going to be at least watchable for this Saturday.
Yep.
I would definitely say that this week games to look out for: Florida versus Utah, Colorado, TCU, Ohio State, Indiana, West Virginia, Penn State, and Florida LSU. In my opinion, the games to watch, of course, I'm gonna have my biases. Well, Ohio State, Indiana, really coming off of our new incoming quarterback. This is like huge for Ryan Day and his whole trajectory of where he's been, where he's going, because we've had the past greats come through. So I'm actually very nervous to see what he does. I'm trying to get his name up. What is his name?
I think it's McCord, right?
Kyle McCord. Yeah, Kyle McCord. So I'm actually very nervous. In my opinion, this is a great game to start the year off. It's not gonna be a slouch game, but it does have the ability to like get away and say, okay, this is how our season's gonna go.
Yeah, for sure. I think kind of looking in at your guys' game, you're right. It's not like a slouch FBS school that like you're just going to run over 56-0. But hopefully, should be a win. It's going to tell us a lot. I think about McCord. I think at the end of the day, you'll be fine. Obviously, Florida, Utah. We're recording this on a Thursday, so that's the game tonight. Really, just kind of looking forward to it. I feel like the first big kickoff of college football. I think you have 4 or 5 straight days of college football starting tonight. Obviously, kind of like diving in a little bit, I'm interested in the Colorado TCU game. How can you not be with Prime?
Yeah.
It seems more and more like Colorado's going to suck this year. Like all I'm hearing and seeing is 4 or 5 wins, maybe, and it starts with probably a blowout this Saturday against TCU.
Whoa! I don't know. I think the spread is they have TCU winning. I forgot what the spread is, but the spread was they had, of course, TCU winning. I don't know what the margin is, but it's a huge fucking game. Like you just don't know. I wouldn't bet on this game. In my opinion, I wouldn't know which side to lean on.
20.5 TCU. Yeah, 20-point favorite.
I knew it was a big margin. I knew it was a big margin. Now here's the thing where I have trouble with, right? You have TCU coming off of losing their quarterback, losing a majority of their fucking starters. The reason that team was so good because their whole offensive line was like 5th-year seniors, right?
Yeah.
That's huge in the offensive line. That's really what carried them into winning. People just talk about that quarterback. It really was that offensive line that was talked about the most, and all the starters that they had coming back. You look at this is a brand new TCU team, right? Same head coach, but I think people are failing to mention that. Yeah, like this is a Colorado team who comes from troubling times and not fucking being in any contingent of anything, right? Not even being in a bowl game, right? But you have to remember, like this is still Prime in the sense that he was able to bring, no matter what, number 1 recruits. He has 2 defensive backs that were number 1 recruits to be starting. So these are guys who would have maybe not started in these big systems, but were like 5-star guys who were going to go could play at Alabama, whatever, and maybe even start that first year and get some playing time. So this is still a team who does have recruits. Now it does worry me with like, let's see what his son does at quarterback and what it looks like. I'm just excited. I wouldn't bet on this game. If I were you, I would not bet on this game. If anything, I would say it's safe to say TCU, but I don't know how it's going to go because it's Prime at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. And that's what's kind of weird because especially now in this transfer portal era, it always seems like with these new coaches, just give it a year. Like come in and cement yourself, bring in your guys, bring more in the following year, like really cement your game plan, your system. So I really don't know. And it's weird because you see the 20.5 points and I'm almost a little surprised that it is that high because you would think that the Prime factor behind it, and like you just said, like TCU lost a ton, especially their Heisman candidate quarterback. And yet here they are opening up
Hmm.
17th ranked team in the country, still 3 touchdown favorites. I think that says to me more on Colorado than it
Yeah.
maybe does TCU. Because I don't think we're considering TCU
Yeah.
to be another like college football juggernaut, or else they would be ranked in the top 15 even.
No.
And they're not. So I think the fact that it's
Yeah.
3 touchdowns, it might say more about Colorado than anything.
Yeah. I mean, I completely, I agree with you. I'm excited to see Prime.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that one's going to
Yeah.
be good. And then the Florida State LSU, that's like the big first top 10 matchup. They always have one of those huge kickoff games. And I think LSU
Yeah.
is going to be awesome this year. I really do. I'm going to pick them to win that game. But I think they have a chance to be college football playoff.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
You're choosing LSU to be in the college playoff this year?
Maybe not putting my stamp on it, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
I think
See,
they're
like,
good.
here's the thing though. I hate the coach. I
Yeah.
can't. Brian, was it Kelly?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. And I'm going back to he's one of the best. Look, love him or hate him, he's one of the best coaches in college right now. That's just the facts behind it.
Yeah, you're just an
And
asshole.
that
Yeah, yeah.
was, yeah, that was kind of the example we just talked about with Prime. Like these guys need a year to get themselves together, get their team together, and then roll. Like last year, you saw LSU
Hmm.
really struggle out of the gate. You know, everyone's kind of making fun of him and how he's dealing with dancing with recruits and shit like that. And then as the
Yeah,
season goes
yeah, yeah,
on,
yeah.
they're getting better and better and better. And now I think they're like the 5th or 6th team ranked in the country coming in. And a lot
Yeah.
of what I'm hearing is like their defense, they a lot of them are coming back. Like they're expecting this defense
Hmm.
to be a really dominant defense. They have a couple really good pass rushers. It's another year with that quarterback underneath the system. Like, look, in an SEC
Yeah.
right now, that's kind of Georgia and almost feels like everyone else. No disrespect to Bama.
Hmm.
I don't think I'd be surprised if LSU is that other SEC team that goes in the playoff.
Okay, I can feel that. So that can kind of lead us into our like this year's predictions with college champions and the Heisman. The Heisman race. I kind of want to get like I know it's a large prediction going down, but I feel like this year, and I can't stand it, but I feel like this is the year of Alabama. This is where Nick Saban makes his stamp back as to being the champions again. Going off of last year of how they had a slim margin to missing the college playoffs and not being in that game, and we all said it. You saw Nick Saban say like we should have been in that game. It would have been a different story with us versus
Yep.
TCU. I mean not us versus TCU. It would have been
Versus Michigan.
TCU won. TCU would have been in it. Yeah. Like you would have saw it would have been. No, it was a championship game, right? Yeah, in the championship game. Like, yeah, it would look the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
scope
yeah.
would look totally different. Yeah, like, and he was so pissed off that I think right now I pissed off Nick Saban. He's been working them boys like fucking hell, and I know that I can give it to them this year because I know this is a building year for Ohio State. When it comes to the Heisman race, I can already see it. If Caleb Williams makes his run in the playoffs, that it's going to him.
Yeah.
Or I pray that, of course, I get that home field advantage of Marlon Harrison Jr. Being able to get that, and I know it probably won't go to him because he won't get that many touches. Hopefully, he does. But that's when it comes to like my specialty guy, I would give it to him.
Yeah. Well, Heisman wise, it's interesting because with my boy Devontae Smith just winning a few years ago, I feel like it kind of opened the door for a receiver to have the opportunity more so than in years past. I feel like we really hit that stride of it's quarterback, 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 right? And then you had Devontae Smith just absolutely ball out. And look again, Kyle McCord, first year quarterback, he could be awesome. But to start the year, like who are you going to? I'm going to the best wide receiver prospect in this year's draft. I'm going to the best wide receiver in the country every single time.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it now. Caleb Williams, obviously the huge favorite, but Jaden Daniels is the quarterback for LSU. He's the second favorite right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. I know we talked about during this draft, like how high I was on USC to maybe make a noise and maybe win a natty. I can't take them after watching it last Saturday. Their defense has way too many holes. Caleb Williams against San Diego State wasn't the issue for me. It was their defense letting up, 28 against San Diego State? Like once you hit the Pac-12 schedule, once you hit these guys like Oregon, Washington, I think they play like with other legit quarterbacks. Bo Nix, Michael Penix, like these guys might light up light up that defense. You very well may need Caleb Williams to go out and score 50 plus a game to have a chance. I don't know, man. I'll pick USC to make the playoff. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's the last year of these conferences, and the Pac-12's never had a team in the 4-team playoff. I think this is the year to change it. I just look around, and it's tough for me to pick anyone else but Georgia. It just seems like they're still. It almost seems like this is their Alabama era. Like this is just the era where they are just better than everyone else. And I don't know if it boils down to them getting in the playoff. I can't see a team beating them.
I think that's crazy, bro. Georgia. I didn't even think about Georgia. I don't know. I guess I'm just not on the Georgia hype train yet. But you know what that made me start to think about?
That's scary in and of itself. It's like we're already getting bored of Georgia.
Yeah. They're starting to get that hate, right? They're starting to get that Alabama hate of like, all right, I'm tired of seeing Georgia. And I think that it's what I was thinking, like, you know what's crazy? I was like, yo, what happened to fucking Clemson? Remember when we were in like high school, college, like Clemson was that team for a while, like the guys that they produced, like, you know, Sammy Watkins, you had fucking what's his name right now, and at the Browns, like, you know, Deshaun Watson, like they had some guys, man. They were in and I was watching because they would always be up against Ohio State all the time. It just so happened that way that like that fall off happens fucking quick, man. You look up and it's what the fuck happened to them? So like, and I mean they're a team that's going like what 3 or 4 losses a season now. So it's like, and they're in the ACC. So it's like
I know, and it's like it's weird. I think Florida State's ranked ahead of them, so they're not even the highest ranked ACC team coming into this year. Now, again, it might be looked at as a good thing because, like you said, I think for the past 5-6 years, like they went Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, like back to back, just no doubt studs. And then last year, and this is kind of even pivoting into the future bet that I like for this year that we'll touch on. But their quarterback, DJ, like do with the long last, like Hawaiian last name, Ulungale or whatever, he was supposed to be like that next guy. I think he was the top recruit, went to Clemson.
He was
never figured it out. Yeah, never figured it out. So maybe Clemson's a team to look out for. That's a good point because did they fall off? Did they have just a bad year that maybe happens? Are they going to come back? Because Dabo Swinney's kind of like wants to put himself in like that Nick Saban mindset of like, yo, I'm gonna grind you guys this year because whatever the fuck happened last year will never happen again. Maybe they are an under the radar team to look out for.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like to see them. I think this is a do or die. Like we haven't seen the real Florida State yet in a while either. So like, I love that they begin with this game. You know what? It's a great opportunity for both teams because you like as a fan, you like seeing Florida State versus LSU in the first week, but it also is a great position to build your season off of. Even if you lose, you still have 100% chance. Like if LSU loses, there's 100% chance they'll still be in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
So like that's it.
Timing on college football is everything. Like if this game was the last game of the year and LSU lost, they'd have no shot. They'd have no shot. But you're right. I mean, if this is even Florida State, like say LSU goes out, wins 30-27, like, and Florida State just runs the table and looks great, nobody's even going to remember this game by the end of the season. So you're right. It's good to kick it off.
That's what sucks when you have Ohio State and Michigan because it comes down to like when they're close, you're playing that last game of the season. It's like, fuck, like this is especially with the for this year, the 4 spots, you can't lose early, not late. You gotta lose early.
That's what makes it so exciting, though. And I'm sure more so for me than you, it's a lot more stressful for you. Like I'm just sitting back and watching a great game, as far as I'm concerned. But like that's part of this rivalry is both teams are supposed to be that good, so that it's literally win or go home.
Oh man, like it's nerve wracking. This is gonna be a big first week for me. Do you want to switch over to? We could talk quickly about the NFL real quick.
Yeah, let's run through it. I know we got some things.
So definitely the first week is really some throwaway games as well. Nothing too crazy that's out there. In my opinion, I said the games I really wanted to look forward to was Bengals versus Browns, and then of course my biases with the Giants versus Cowboys. I think those are the big games. You have Deshaun Watson coming to the Browns. You have Joey, the guy, man, and you know what? I'm gonna goat that dude. Like I did not believe in Burrows, and I definitely can goat him with looking at his past and where he's been. Just like this is a big game because I know Burrow. I didn't even know he was hurt. That they're questioning if he's gonna.
I forgot about it too.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, like they're questioning if he's going to start week 1, but this is a huge week for the Browns too to see if Deshaun Watson can hold it down. And then of course your division rivalry game, Giants versus Cowboys. I already got some hate going out there. Like this is huge for both. I would say both quarterbacks. Fuck the team. Like this is big for like
Hmm.
where's Dak going to be? I mean, Dak has really. I don't know the last time Dak's lost to the Giants. We really don't usually lose to the Giants, but this is a huge. I feel like when you look at Daniel Jones and the Giants, they have a lot of shit to fucking prove. And this is a
Yeah, they
big
do.
game to fucking prove it. So whereas the Cowboys might come on their prima donna bullshit and be like, this is what we do and get our fucking ass waxed. So I think it's gonna be a good game. But it's gonna fucking set me up for hell going forward to the season. Like if this game goes bad, the season's bad for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think those are two good ones to look out for. Obviously, the others would just be like watch CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Anthony Richardson, see how the top 5 guys do in their debuts. I know, again, we'll touch on some college football bets. We'll do NFL bets next week as we gear up to it. But
Yeah.
as a little teaser to that, a game I'm looking out for is the Steelers Niners. Like the Steelers a lot this year. I think they
Okay.
might upset the Niners to start the week, but um, yeah, you're right. It's good. It's really good just to get back. I'm kind of looking. Obviously, all eyes are going to be Monday Night Football too, with the
Yeah.
Jets and Hard Knocks and Aaron Rodgers, and going up against a Bills team that really hasn't been talked about that much.
Nah, nah. And that's dangerous though.
It
That's
is exact.
they
It's the Clemson, right? It's
Yeah, they
the
they've
teams
been
that.
quiet. They've been quiet, and that's what they want because they've had a lot of drama
Yes.
that's been low key for the
Yep.
Bills. So I think that's what they want. Like this is a big thing. Now, you have your boy, your brother-in-law who's out there in 49er land who is all in now. They have no opinions necessarily. They're all in on Purdy. As you know, the trade went down. The Cowboys acquired. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm
Yeah.
just like, hey, if we can go get a guy who's kind of been sitting out with Land, like he's been sitting out, he's been hurt, he's been coached up. You could say that fucking one thing. He's from Shanahan. He's been getting coached up. Who knows what he can look like? In my opinion, we lose a 4th-round draft pick. I'll take that. Like I'll
Yeah.
take that
Yep.
if I have to go. And like I saw a meme, it was like all of our backups are still better than Daniel Jones. So it's like
Huh.
let's fucking see. Let's see what we can do, man. And I had
Yep.
definitely a lot more faith. And if Dak is fucking up, let's throw one of those fucking guys in there and fucking win something. You know what I mean? Like just get me through a
Yeah.
week.
It's so this trade was interesting because I agree. As an Eagles fan, I didn't like it so much because it was a good move, I think, on the Cowboys' part, right? And I think that Jerry, he knows what he's doing, and he looks around the league, and he even said it like in an interview right before this trade happened, like, we really wanted to go get Jalen Hurts. He sees the movement of the NFL right now, like what,
Yeah.
and just like think about the top quarterbacks that are considered right now. It's obviously Mahomes, he's on another level, but like Josh Allen can
Jalen
move,
Hurts.
bigger dude. Jalen
Mhm.
Hurts can move, bigger dude. Joe
Mhm.
Burrow can move a little bit.
Mhm.
Justin Herbert, people love, like can move, cannon of an arm. So he's definitely seeing like the trend of the NFL. He's seeing what the Eagles did last year and said, we probably should get a guy that can move with a rocket of an arm. And you're right, for a 4th-round pick, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a chance on him because
Yeah.
the knock on him is even from high school, like he's just never played.
Mhm.
He's never played, but that can also be looked at as a positive. Like if he's being
Yeah.
coached up, who knows what he can be?
Yeah.
And it's a very similar situation because it reminded me a tad bit of when Jalen Hurts came into Philadelphia, and we had a quarterback that was kind of on the hot seat, kind of not. He was banged up, kind of
True.
not. A
Mhm.
lot of turnovers, wasn't getting the job done, higher expectations. Let's see what this other guy has in Jalen Hurts, and now we show what he is. So I
Mhm.
really think that Jerry might be like, yo, I don't think Trey Lance, we should see him this year. I don't think you do.
Mhm.
But hey, man, if Dak goes out and shits the bed again, maybe you say to yourself, they're going to clean house, get McCarthy out, get a new coach in here. We hope to have our franchise quarterback, or at least try what Trey Lance can do.
Mhm.
It's going to be interesting because I'm telling you now, if that first Dak interception is going to hit a lot different because he's going to be looking over his shoulder a lot more so now because he's not looking at
Yeah.
Cooper Rush. He's looking
Yeah.
at Trey Lance.
Yeah. 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 I think it was. You bring up a good point though. You know what I saw? And I haven't looked into this, but they said like if like this comparison, I always say that there's a Dallas Cowboys media, right? You have the
Yeah.
annoying media where you're seeing so much of the Cowboys, and then you have the other side of it where you're seeing so much Dallas Cowboy hate that I get, right? But within being the Cowboys media, there was a statistic that came out, right? Of when Peyton Manning threw 28, 15,
Here we go.
15, 23, 19, 10, and 10 interceptions in his first 7 seasons in the NFL. You know that that's a difference, right? And I'm not in no circumstances comparing him to fucking Peyton Manning. And I don't know what that looked like for them. Like, was he having playoff wins? Was he having success during those first 7 years? What was their record? What was their team? Like, I didn't look in that far, but it was interesting to see that, like, oh shit, like Peyton Manning had some rough patches too, and we let him develop. Like, he's taking a lot of criticism as well.
Well, his first 7 seasons. In his 7th season, he just won his 2nd straight MVP award. So
MVP.
yeah,
But
Dak is not
that goes,
touching that.
but no. But that goes on the path of like you could say like a Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre was new for just fucking making plays that you loved and then making plays that you fucking hate. Like, why don't you bite the bullet? You can't have them both. Now that's the difference that you see. Peyton Manning may have been throwing 28 interceptions, but may have been having an MVP year. He may be having these years to where he's going out there doing that. Dak is just fucking throwing interceptions.
Exactly.
So that's where that comparison that I was like, I had to read up on it. But it's an interesting fact to see that, like, damn, when you think of Peyton Manning, you don't think about, all the interception those years he first had in those years in the beginning. Who's to say that can't change it and get figure it the fuck out? But I really don't think it's in him. I
don't either. And to be honest with you, like,
I love the guy though, man. I love the guy.
I honestly, like, mental wise, like, I like how he does approach the game. And I'm not even like coming at you from like a Cowboys hater. He could throw away half the interceptions he had last year. I just don't think he's elite enough to be like a Peyton Manning. Like you just said it, Peyton can throw all these interceptions. He was elite, so he was going to make up for it. Dak can't.
Yeah,
even if he throws away half of his interceptions, I still don't think he's elite enough to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. No matter what, if you were to put Peyton Manning or you put Brett Favre and you put Dak in that conversation, you go into a Super Bowl game, you're going to be fucking more nervous to have Dak at the helm than you are any of those two quarterbacks. Again, I'm comparing him to greatness, right? And that's unfair, but still, it's when you look around the league, like how nervous am I going into every game? It's always like if Dak can just do his job and play his best ball, it could be good. And the best ball I ever seen Dak play was a Tampa Bay game. That was the little glimmer of like, oh shit, he has it in him. Like he does have it in him. But then the next week he just fucks it off against the 49ers. So it's just like
that was like a microcosm of his entire career.
Yeah, exactly. If you got the job done and did the same thing with the 49ers, it's a different discussion in my eyes. It's he's starting to get the fuck together. You go into Philly, you just get beat the fuck up in Philly by that defense. And fuck it. I could take that on the chin and say, that defense was one of the all-time greatest defenses of today's times. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all that. I can't wait to definitely be nervous. A nervous wreck going into this first week of sports with my Ohio State and the Dallas Cowboys. Do you want to get some locks out before we end this?
Yeah. I was going to say, so just some.
Let's get to Liam's locks.
Let's hope, man. And look, these are. I have 2 week 1 bets, and then I have a future bet for us. So look, It's always week 1 in college football. There's so much turnover. Who knows? But this is what I think I like. North Carolina, 2.5 point favorites against South Carolina. I'm going to take them, and here's why. I don't know how great North Carolina is, but I do know that I really like that quarterback, Drake May. And he was another name that I pointed out to you and said, yeah, you know what? He probably would have gone top 5. I think he definitely would have gone before Anthony Richardson in this year's draft. And he probably would have gone after C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go that crazy. But he's an excellent quarterback. I really like watching him last year. He kind of took a stranglehold on that North Carolina offense. I think it's going to be a tight game because I believe their defense is not all that great, but I'm going to take the better quarterback to sneak out a win. The second game, I noticed.
Whoa, hold on. You have is Rattler still there
for South Carolina?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know, brother. I mean, that's a big. I would take that as a bet, but Rattler being there, this is make or break year for Rattler as well. I would be cautious of taking that if you're already saying South Carolina has a decent defense. I don't
Yeah.
know. Rattler's
No,
the guy.
I think he's that good. Drake May.
Okay, I gotta watch
A-
him. I don't know him too much.
Another game. Now this dipped. I think I was looking at this Tuesday night, and this was the line. So this is what I'm going to have. But I think it changed. Iowa plays Utah State, and when I saw it, Utah State was 25-point underdogs. They are now down to 23.5-point underdogs. Take them either way. Iowa, I think, will be a little bit better. But Malik, they averaged 18 points per game last year. Iowa did 18 points. So I'm kind of looking at this thing like, look, they could put up 30, which might be a little bit of a stretch. All I need is one fucking touchdown from Utah State. One touchdown, and we should be able to cover that spread. So
the spread is over 20 points as a total.
Yeah. So Utah State, when I saw it, and I'll just talk in what they are now. So Utah State can lose the game by 23 points or less, or win that game, and this would cover. Iowa would have to win that game by 24 points or more. They have to win by 24 or more. So my thinking is take Utah State, have Iowa score 30 if they can. If Utah State puts up one fucking touchdown, it covers because Iowa didn't win by more than 24. Now, I didn't necessarily realize, or I guess I forgot, that I believe Cade McNamara, the former Michigan quarterback that was kind of in and out, transferred to Iowa. So they should be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of skeptical on that offense. So give me Utah State to cover.
Okay.
My future, and we kind of hinted at this a little bit, so you're probably going to give me some slack at it. Oregon State over 8.5 wins. Now, this was a good program last year. This was a team that hit you hard. They ran the ball hard, and they had a pretty good defense in terms of Pac-12. They beat Oregon last year, last game of the season, 38-35. I think their quarterback threw the ball 12 times and completed 3 passes, and they put up 38 points. So, and then what I mean by we kind of talked about this was Clemson's quarterback, that DJ Uiagalelei, transferred to Oregon State. So he is their starting quarterback this year.
Oh, shit.
I'm believing in him. Sometimes it is just, look, it wasn't a fit. I'm in this program that has dominated the past decade with guys like Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it was too much for him. Now he goes into Pac-12 that maybe the offense is better suited for him. 8.5 wins. I think they can win 9. I looked at their schedule. I think they can win 9, maybe even match the 10 that they had last year. So that's what I like for my college football future. So give me North Carolina to cover 2.5 points as the favorite. Utah State, whatever it is, if you can get it again at 25, get it at 25 to cover against Iowa. And trust in Oregon State, man. Stay up late to watch some Pac-12 games because I think they'll be pretty decent this year.
Oof. You bring up a good point though with the quarterback transfer there. You had the similar thing with Bo Nix. Like Bo Nix, I can't believe he's still how's he still in college ball?
I don't know.
Like how's he still playing? He was at Auburn for how fucking long? But he went from Auburn to Oregon, right?
Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, and you're seeing what he's able to have some success and like boost his rating as well. So who knows? It could be the same thing for him.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I only realistically, you only need this guy to be a little better than like what was an average quarterback last year for Oregon State. I'll bet on that.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Let's see if we could trust in Liam's locks. Hey, let's hope for a great year. Some great content to come from this year. We definitely have to do some in person, bro. We gotta get some episodes in person.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what we could do for Eagles Cowboys first week. I know you have your superstitions of like you like to watch it with your family. I am definitely someone who do not like to be around a lot of people when I watch my games. I like to either be with my dad or I'm by myself. So we have to do something where we can either live stream it or do something like that. So we have people interacting with us watching this game.
Definitely. And again, a new wrinkle, fantasy football this year. Got to keep up on how our teams are doing too. Same league, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're in the same league for two. True. I gotta get my team together. Any last words, brother, for the season, the start of the season, week 1, man, going all in.
Just get us here.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. All right, guys, make sure you support on all the platforms on YouTube. Subscribe at in those we trust. Please follow us on Instagram at WeTrust_podcast. Listen on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon podcast as well. Follow Liam on the Instagram at
Liam Stokes 11.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.